Hey everyone, it's Matron again, bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time between Frel and TheCapn. This game is the first round matchup in the round of 12 for the Scarlet Crusade SC2 tournament. It's going to be a best out of 3 series, and the winner of this series will actually move on to play me in the next round. If you haven't yet caught my 3 games in my first round matchup, they should be on the channel. Check those out. Frel is actually one of my pretty steady practice partners. Play each other often, so I'm very familiar with his game, but not so much with Capn's. Capn sent out his Overlord in a good scouting path here. It's going to see Frel. Also going to give away his position with the Overlord coming in to Frel's base at this angle. Frel throws down a pylon here, and a lot of players are using this pylon back away from the ramp. If you try to wall off with a pylon by your ramp, that's susceptible to a Baneling bust since pylons are relatively weak. Capn looks like he gets out the gas around 10 and starts, well, not going to start the drones. A little bit of indecision there. Hasn't yet thrown up a pool yet. Still just pumping drones. Frel's working on his first gateway, about halfway done. It looks like Frel, because he knows the position of the Capn after that Overlord went into his base, is going to send a probe down here, possibly set up a proxy. The spawning pool is going to go down. It's going to be a 13 spawning pool. One reason Frel might not want to throw up a proxy right here is because if Capn scouts his base and only sees one pylon, meaning if he uses this proxy as a second pylon, the one pylon is usually a big tip-off that there's a proxy somewhere on the map, and the other player may go scout for it. So we'll see. Yeah, it looks like he's throwing up that second pylon. It's going to be the proxy, and he's going to go into the Capn's base here and see what's going on. Capn should have left the Overlord in Frel's base, possibly, to get a little bit of scouting in before Stalkers go up. It looks like he's going to go for Zergling speed here. Frel's just chilling out in the base, checking out, actually blocking gas a little bit here, making the drones take a wider path. Smart move. And the first 2 Zerglings come out, and they're going to chase away this probe. My cat is meowing. Shut up! Queen's coming out for the Capn. Looks like Frel's working on 3 gates and a cybernetic score. He's got a nice block off with his Zealot here and chronoing out that warp gate tech. Still on 1 gas, and worker-wise at an advantage or a disadvantage, 19 to 16. Not pumping out as many probes here as you'd like. All these extra minerals at this point in the game should be probes. Capn has a nice small advantage in harvesters, and the Zergling speed's about to finish. Capn is throwing up a relatively fast expand here, still with these 2 Zerglings. Now speed Zerglings, and morphing into a lair. So still has a nice economic advantage here by a harvester or 2, and going to have a much larger one once this second base comes up. Frel's warp tech is about to finish off. Zealot comes in here, gets 0 scouting. Let's see what he saw. Looks like he was able to see, well, pretty much everything now that he has the Overlord come in. Frel's going to get down the 4 warp gates. Not many units at this point for Frel, just the 2 Zealots, though they've done a nice job sealing off this front door. Capn might lose this Overlord to these 2 Stalkers as Frel warps in more units. Let's see if Capn's getting any units up in response. Looks like he's got a nice pack of Zerglings here, 12 of them, and throws up a Roach Warren as well. Roaches are pretty good against gateway units, do quite a bit of damage, and they're good tanks against the Zealots. The second base is up and functioning, and you're going to see any sort of transfer here in drones. The Roach Warren comes up, and looks like we have 4 roaches being made. Frel's going to move out. I'd like to see maybe a pylon in this position here so we can warp in units on the way there, though he does have this proxy. The Zergling at this tower is going to see these forces move out. And he's going to rally his troops to the top of the ramp here and throw down a spine crawler. So if Frel waits too long, the spine crawler may go up. So out comes the captain's army. If we look at army size, Frel has a good advantage here, and warping in 4 more zealots, so quite a bit of an advantage, 1400 to 625. We could possibly see this hatchery go down here with some good micromanagement. Force field can actually protect the roaches from those zealots. Want a force field closer to your stalkers to protect them from the Zerglings. Looks like a stalker or perhaps 2 are going to go down to those Zerglings, but the zealots are just going to rip through the Zerglings and eventually these roaches as well. More Zerglings coming out. There are 2 there. Good reinforcements by the captain here. Focus firing down this hatchery when these Zerglings are attacking these units. Frel needs to be warping in more units as well from his proxy. He had 500 some minerals during that fight. 4 more zealots and some better micromanagement rather than attacking the hatchery there. Making sure he sticks on that army, and that might have gone the other way. So if we look at army tab, now Captain has an advantage 850 to 525. Units lost, Frel's lost almost 800 more resources. Captain only lost that initial force. Still has quite a few roaches, 3 of his initial 5 I believe, and a whole bunch of Zerglings. Frel does have a small force in his base, so if Captain moves out with this wall off here, he should be able to fend it off. Frel's getting up a railroad facility, and looks like queuing up 2 observers. Might have been a misclick on his part, and going to get some scouting in on the Captain. Captain's going down with the Spire now that his lair is finished, and it looks like this is the lair tech he's finished, or he's choosing. Only 1 gas up at this point, so not sure he's really going to be able to support the Mutalisks there. He's rallying 12 drones to this expansion and getting up a 2nd gas, but his Mutalisk production is going to be very slow, though he's now getting up a 3rd gas. He needs to fully saturate this last extractor. Over in Frel's base, it looks like he's pumping out Immortals if he expects some sort of roach play. And I'm not sure where Frel's probe went, or his observer. Might have been taking down the Overseer and a Queen. Though, there it is. So Frel's able to see the Spire, able to see the roaches. He's going to come down and see the defenses here. Army value is still much, much higher. So if Frel moved out again here, he might be able to take down this army and perhaps this hatchery. It's at half-life. See the Captain's working on his first 5 Mutalisks. Frel's going to want to respond with a lot more Stalkers. Instead, he's continuing to get out these Immortals, even though roaches aren't a large part of this army. Immortals are a good counter to roaches, as they can 3-shot the armored roaches and take reduced damage from the roach spit. They're good tanks. But if the Captain's not getting out a lot of roaches here, Frel needs to respond with Stalkers instead to defend against this Spire. Frel did see this Spire in his scouting, so he should expect these Mutalisks.